What's going on, guys? Marcus from Wall Street Assassins back at it again with another video. And today is the Sunday watch list. So this is going to be a breakdown of top stocks or key stocks to watch this week. This is going to be an epic watch list just because we have a lot of earnings coming out this week. We have names like Amazon, Apple, Meta, AMD, Google, and there's plenty more. So comment below what stock you guys are watching this week. But just like any other video, we're starting off with the economical report. You guys can easily find this on marketwatch.com. So looking at the report over here, you can see that tomorrow is Monday the 30th. Nothing is pretty much going on tomorrow. On Tuesday, you have some information coming out, but the main thing you want to watch out is going to be on Wednesday, February 1st. We have FOMC. That is when Fed Jerome Powell is going to basically speak on what he feels like is going to happen with the overall economy, what's going on with the market, what's going on with everything. So a lot of this information does come out before 10, but Powell speaks at 2:30. So you guys definitely want to be cautious on that day. The market may be very erratic. So you definitely want to be cautious on February 1st. On Wednesday, Thursday, we have jobless numbers, labor, factory, a whole bunch of information coming out on Thursday. And then Friday, you have unemployment, PMI again, non-farm payroll. So definitely want to watch to see and check this list out to see what may affect your overall trade. So always good to check this out. Starting off with the watch list, I guess we'll start off with Google, right? Google does have earnings this week. So looking at Google's chart over here, this is the 180 day. I always like to look at the 1 year first, just so we could basically see what's overall happening. So Google is below the SMA. The SMA is sitting around like 103 over here. So that always is a good indication for a possible resistance level, especially if the stock is trading below it. So we definitely need to watch for 103 going forward this upcoming week. Has some type of support at 85, and the EMA is sitting at like 95 over here. So I'm gonna change that. You guys really should know my color coding by now, but the solid lines, right? The solid orange and solid blues representing the EMA for the orange and the SMA for the blue when it comes to the 1 year. This way, when I drop down towards my smaller charts, I know overall where that 1 year EMA is, because if we do break it to the upside or downside, that is a major trend change, like you guys can see over here, how this EMA at 95 has been strong support multiple times in the past, and the SMA has been resistance multiple times. So definitely want to keep an eye on Google. Overall, the RSI is a little bit more on the overbought side. You can see it's sitting around 70. MACD is trying to cross up. We are above the 180-day trade line. I typically make that an orange long dotted line as well. So then we have a intermediate resistance at 130. So I believe once we break 130, Google has the opportunity to head towards those 130 cents. We could go to 103 over here, maybe even retest the SMA around 103.90 or 104. If we do come down, I'm looking for a break below 98, and then we could start going down towards 95 on Google. Next stock that has earnings this week is going to be AMD. Haven't looked at AMD in a while, but it does have earnings and has the potential to be a mover this week. So looking at AMD, AMD is below the 1 year SMA. So you guys already know we're going to make that a solid blue line over here. And then we're above the EMA, right? So above that 1 year EMA, I'm going to make that a solid orange line, right? And of course, we have some support, right? And then we have resistance on the way up. So let's jump down towards the 180-day chart over here, and you guys can see what's going on, right? SMA has acted as resistance multiple times. We're above the 180-day EMA over here, so change that over here as well. So we do have some resistance. I would preferably go for a long position until we break this 79 area over here. Once we break the 79 area, we can at least start getting up towards these 82 zones. You can see we peaked out like 82, went a high of 85. So we can start getting into this pocket over here. But definitely want to set your alerts on AMD, see how it's going to perform. It does have earnings on the 31st. believe that is Tuesday. If we do start coming down, we want to watch for a break of 74, and you could get to 73. 73 is the 1-year EMA, which could act as a support zone. And if we do break that, we could start basically getting into this pocket over here, or you could start getting from like go from those 73 zones down to 71, maybe even retest this 180-day SMA at 68. So all is possible, especially during earnings week. So make sure you guys keep an eye on this one as well. Next one we're going to jump into is Meta. Meta has earnings this week. A lot of key names this week. It's make it or break it week for the overall market, just because there's a lot of companies announcing earnings. Meta is announcing earnings on the 1st, right? So I believe that's the same day Powell is talking as well. Jumping over towards this chart over here, you can see Meta is actually trying to break above that 1-year SMA. I'm going to change that color. 1-year SMA sitting around like 150s over here. If we zoom in a little bit, you can see that 1-year EMA sitting around like, second, just change this real quick, sitting around 142. Let me just zoom out again so we could just nail those key support resistance levels on the larger chart. Don't need to get like too crazy with it. All right, got a support down here. And it looks just really clean on the charts over here. See RSI is getting very overbought. Before I jump over towards a smaller chart, we are on the 1-year, 1-day. You can see RSI is getting overbought. That's a key sign for a possible pullback, right? Every time that RSI is overbought, you gotta look at the chart like, hey, we're overbought, pullback, overbought, pullback. So definitely want to watch to see how the RSI is gonna react going forward, especially this upcoming week, especially since they have earnings. You guys know I don't play earnings, but it's going to be good to watch the stock after earnings to see what overall happens. You guys can see what overall happened with our next stock we're going to talk about. You guys see that in a moment, but on the way down, want to watch to see if we break below 148, then we can start going to 142, right? 148 to 142. 148 is the 188 EMA, I call it trade line, right? It's going to be a major trend change. You can see we've been holding above it for the uptrend. When we start to get below it, that means we're going lower, right? So on the way up, you want to watch for the break of 153. Then we can start going to 159. 159 was a previous support before on Meta. Next one, we're jumping into Apple. Looking at Apple, same process, jumping over towards that 1-year. Clear things up over here, get a fresh picture of Apple, right? We got Apple attempting to hit that 1-year SMA over here, which can act as a possible wall for Apple. So a lot of things have been running. If you guys put it into perspective, I know earnings can change everything, right? But if you guys put it into perspective, a lot of things have been basically coming off those lows, right? You can see the RSI was oversold. It came off those lows of 124, reaching a peak of 147 where we were overbought. Are we going to reject this area over here? We have to wait for earnings. So Apple does have earnings announcing on the 2nd of next month, right? This upcoming week. So definitely want to watch and see how Apple's going to perform. Is it going to drop? Is it going to hold up? You never know until it happens, right? So it's just color code this 180-day, right? We're now on the 180-day 4-hour. You can see once we start to break that 144, we can start gapping down towards 140. 140 was a previous support before, very clean. And since we're right below that SMA, around like 147, once we break that zone, we can start basically going up towards 150, which was a previous resistance. So 147 to 150, and you can go to 155. So very, very clean levels on Apple, right? Amazon has earnings this week, right? A lot of key stocks this week, right? Very important. Amazon, a lot of these are very huge companies in the overall market. And if anything happens to these companies, or if a few of these names go down, then it may take the whole market with it. So this is very important that we're actually even charting this out right now so we can understand overall what may happen with these companies. God forbid, or whatever happens. I'm a day trader. I don't care if it goes up or down as long as we have momentum and volume. But overall, these companies, if they do fall, it can bring the overall market down with it. That's just something to think about, right? So we have the SMA sitting at 110. We have 97 for the EMA. That's the 1 year, 1 day. Drop down towards the 180-day. Again, we're looking at Amazon. You can see we have some type of resistance going on at that 103. 103 was a previous resistance multiple times. This is the date and time. So once we break 103, we can start basically pushing up towards 109. Amazon took a nice little hit on its last earnings. You can see if its last earnings, it basically took a hit, started going sideways. Is this earnings going to basically prevail for Amazon for it to go higher? Got to kind of wait and see, right? Amazon on the break of 100, we can start going to 97, maybe even 90 down here. Got to wait and see. But to the upside, you guys already know we got to break that resistance of 103, and then we get into this pocket over here of 108. So set your alerts on Amazon. Amazon should be a big mover. All depends if this is the stock that you guys like to trade. All right, so next stock we're going to jump into. Good old Tesla, right? Tesla was a major mover last week, right? Major, major mover, especially after its earnings. And this is why you guys want to pay attention to stocks. The way I trade earnings is basically I wait for the move to happen, right? So either it beats or miss. And now I know, hey, analyze the charts. I know where to basically look for my entries, whether it be to long or short position, right? So earnings could be major hit or miss for companies, especially as an option trader. They could damage your contracts, even if the stock doesn't even go anywhere. The implied volatility could mess up your contracts. But overall, speaking of Tesla, Tesla went from an oversold position at 101. And then we basically sitting at an overbought position, or that's like 75 on the RSI. MACD's crossed up. We're above the 100, the 1 year EMA over here at 147. Need to break that 178 before we can start basically pushing up towards those 200 levels. We have a short-term resistance level over here around that. Once we break that 181, we can start basically going to 200. Let's jump over towards the 180-day over here so you guys can see things a little clearer, right? We break that 181, we go up to 200, nice little pocket. RSI on the 180-day is at 90. If Tesla doesn't have a pullback tomorrow, it's going to be a very, very high risk long position. I'm expecting some type of pullback on Tesla. Even if it wants to continue to go up, it needs to have a pullback, let the charts breathe a little bit to reset for up for higher gain. So set your alerts, see what happens. We may wake up and see this thing down, or Tesla is just one of those stocks where we may wake up and see this up. But if it's up, then I probably wouldn't even trade it just because of where the RSI is. I wouldn't look for any long positions. It would be considered a high risk long position for me. But on the way down, I'm looking for a break of 164, and we can start going to 145 over here. So watch out for that. I'm just going to set my alerts for either or. And the piece of resistance, we're looking at SPY over here, right? So we're going to do all new trend lines for SPY, especially SPY. I was trading SPY heavy last week, so I look like Spider-Man lines to you over here, but let's see what's going on, right? Chart our major support resistance levels real quick, right? You can see that SPY was on an overall downward trend. It looks like it's trying to find some type of support. Overall, let's mark out our SMA over here. SMA sitting around like 390. We need to break like 410 before you can start pushing up towards those like 420 levels over here, right? So SPY is getting very high, no pun intended. But on the break of the EMA could be a major trend change. We're going to put that as orange as well. So 398 down towards those 391 levels. And then we need to break at least 400, 410 before we can start going to 420 or SPY can get real high, right? Let's jump over towards 180-day over here, 180-day. You can see RSI is a little bit more on the overbought side, right? And you guys can see that it has been uptrending, right? So if it does basically break this uptrend, first line of defense for this stock for me is going to be the break of the 180 EMA at 404. Then we get down towards these 398, 399 pockets, and I'm waiting for 410. You could get in from 408 to 410, especially if you're trading same days. You get some options like that, but it's a little bit more on the overbought side. Definitely be cautious with those long positions. But that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Leave a like below. Hopefully you guys all have a green trading week. Make sure you guys use a stop loss. Check out the economical calendar, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.